The galaxy is vast and teeming with countless intelligent species, each with its own strengths, flaws, and peculiarities. In this endless tapestry of life, humanity is but a recent addition, small, fragile, and often overlooked at first glance. To the untrained eye, humans seem average. They aren't the strongest, nor the fastest. Their eyesight pales in comparison to the nocturnal VRYN. Their intelligence is dwarfed by the computational brilliance of the Krill, and their physical endurance hardly matches the relentless Draconair. And yet, a strange phenomenon is unfolding across the galaxy. Every crew, no matter how advanced or specialized, wants at least one human on board. It's become a point of curiosity, and sometimes envy, among other species. The trade hubs are filled with tales of humans performing feats that defy logic. Captains speak of them with admiration, though often laced with confusion. They're unpredictable, one gruff Eric merchant once said. But stars above, I wouldn't set out without one. Among these tales is the story of the Celestial Wave, a mid-sized cargo vessel with a crew comprised of 7 different species. Its captain, a meticulous and rule-bound Thark known as Vrelka, had reluctantly agreed to recruit a human. Vrelka's kind prided themselves on efficiency and had little patience for what they considered emotional chaos. The human, a mechanic named Alex Carter, had joined only weeks prior. Young and eager, Alex had spent most of the journey so far observing and quietly assisting, drawing little attention. The rest of the crew had mixed feelings about Alex. A stoic art-carrying navigator, Lorne, was skeptical. Humans overthink everything, he had grumbled once. Too much emotion, not enough precision. Meanwhile, Zithra, a Zenithian engineer, found Alex amusing but largely unremarkable. Their tools are quaint, she remarked after watching Alex tinker with an outdated diagnostic console. But they seem to make them work, somehow. The only one who openly supported Alex was Jara, the ship's medic. Her species, the empathetic Vrincy, had an innate ability to sense emotions. She found Alex's determination refreshing. Their minds burn like wildfire, she'd told Vrelka one evening. There's something about them, an energy, a spark that refuses to be extinguished. Vrelka wasn't convinced. To her, the human was just another crew member, albeit an odd one. But as the Celestial Wave prepared for a routine supply run to a remote outpost, she would soon discover why humans had earned their reputation. The ship left the trade station smoothly, its systems humming with precision. The crew settled into their usual routines, and Alex found herself in the engine bay, running diagnostics. It was a mundane day, with no hint of the chaos that would soon unfold. Yet, even in those quiet moments, the human's presence was a puzzle the crew couldn't quite piece together. Why did so many captains swear by having a human on board? For now, the question lingered unanswered, like a storm cloud on the horizon, waiting to break. The tranquility of the Celestial Wave's voyage didn't last long. Just as the ship entered the fringes of an uncharted nebula, an alarm blared through the corridors. Red lights pulsed with urgency as the crew scrambled to their stations. Vrelka's voice came over the comms, clipped and steady. All hands, brace for turbulence. We've encountered an anomaly. The anomaly was unlike anything they'd seen before. A massive electromagnetic disturbance stretched across their path, shimmering like liquid metal. It wasn't listed in any navigational charts, and its erratic energy spikes made it impossible to predict. Lorne, at the helm, growled in frustration as the ship's autopilot failed to plot a safe course. "Captain, I can't stabilize the trajectory. The interference is overwhelming the guidance systems," he reported. His clawed hands danced over the controls, but the vessel still lurched violently as the anomaly's gravitational waves slammed against it. In the engine bay, Alex felt the first jolt as power surged unevenly through the systems. Consoles flickered, and warning messages cascaded across the displays. She immediately set to work, her hands moving instinctively to isolate critical circuits. Her communicator crackled to life with Zithra's voice. "Human, the reactors are overloading. Can you fix it or not?" "I'm on it," Alex replied, keeping her tone calm despite the rising tension. She knew the reactor's design was Zenithian, far more advanced than anything she'd worked on back on Earth. Still, the principles were familiar enough, and she quickly assessed the situation. On the bridge, Vrelka issued orders with her characteristic precision. Lorne, divert auxiliary power to the stabilizers. Zithra, focus on regulating the energy flow from the core. We'll weather this anomaly if everyone follows procedure. But procedure wasn't enough. A sudden, violent shockwave rippled through the ship, sending crew members tumbling. Panels sparked, and a section of the cargo hold depressurized, forcing the automated safety systems to seal it off. The stabilizers are offline, Lorne shouted. The situation was spiraling out of control. The crew was highly trained, each member an expert in their field, but the sheer unpredictability of the anomaly rendered their specialized knowledge less effective. Vrelka's Tharkian efficiency faltered in the face of chaos, and even Zithra, with her technical prowess, struggled to adapt to the cascading failures. Meanwhile, Alex worked with relentless focus, patching a ruptured coolant line with what looked like a simple adhesive patch. It wasn't elegant, but it held. She scanned the systems again and realized the root issue wasn't just the reactors. It was the energy distribution grid. The alien systems were designed to handle high efficiency, but lacked redundancy for extreme conditions. Her mind raced. The only way to stabilize the grid was to bypass several damaged circuits entirely, rerouting power manually. It was risky, unconventional, and far from any standard protocol. But Alex didn't hesitate. As the crew's frustration and panic grew, she keyed her communicator. "Captain," she said, "I have an idea, but it's not in your manual." Vrelka's voice, tense but controlled, replied, "Do it. Whatever it takes." It was a gamble, and everyone on board knew it. The humans' plan would either save them or doom them all. Alex moved with purpose, her mind racing through the steps of the plan. The ship's systems were sophisticated, built by species whose designs emphasized precision and efficiency, but they lacked flexibility. That rigidity was the real enemy here. Humans, by contrast, thrived in improvisation, and Alex knew this was her chance to prove it. The first step was rerouting the power grid. Alex grabbed a toolkit and opened a maintenance hatch. The circuitry was a maze of advanced technology, with conduits glowing faintly as energy pulsed through them. She spotted the damaged relays causing the overload and quickly cut power to those sections. Sparks flew as she bypassed the standard controls, linking cables manually. "Zithra, I need you to monitor the reactor output." Alex called over the comm. "If it spikes past 120%, let me know immediately." Zithra's voice came back, hesitant but curious. "You're taking the distribution grid offline entirely? That's reckless. It's either reckless or dead. Take your pick," Alex shot back, not unkindly. With the circuits bypassed, Alex turned her attention to the ship's stabilizers. They were designed to handle gravitational disruptions, but had failed under the anomaly's intensity. She didn't have time to repair them conventionally, so she improvised. Using components scavenged from auxiliary systems, she constructed a makeshift energy buffer, something that would absorb the anomaly's spikes and prevent further damage. "Captain, stabilizers should be functional in 60 seconds, Alex reported. Vrelka's voice came through immediately. "Functional isn't good enough. We need full stabilization to navigate out of this." Alex smirked to herself. "Give me another minute, and I'll get you more than functional." While the crew focused on their assigned tasks, Alex's approach began to shift the dynamic. Jara, the medic, noticed it first. The human's calm under pressure was affecting the others. Even Lorne, usually critical of Alex's methods, found himself following her lead without hesitation. "Energy buffer is holding," Zithra announced, surprise evident in her tone. "I didn't think this would work, but it's stabilizing the reactor flow." "It's not perfect," Alex replied, wiping sweat from her brow, "but it doesn't have to be. We just need to hold out long enough to escape the anomaly." As the ship steadied, a new problem arose. The anomaly was intensifying, creating a gravitational pull that threatened to trap them indefinitely. The engines were running at maximum capacity, but it wasn't enough. We need more thrust, Lorne said, frustration creeping into his usually stoic voice. Alex had anticipated this. She had one last idea, and it was the riskiest of all. We can siphon energy directly from the reactor into the engines, she suggested. That could destroy the entire propulsion system. Zithra protested. Not if we do it carefully, Alex countered. It's our only chance to break free. Vrelka didn't hesitate. Do it. Alex rerouted the energy, her hands steady despite the danger. The engines roared to life, pushing the ship forward with a sudden burst of power. The gravitational pull of the anomaly strained against them, but the celestial wave broke free, lurching into open space. For a moment, there was only silence on the comms. Then Vrelka spoke, her tone uncharacteristically warm. Well done, human. Well done. The silence that followed their escape was almost as loud as the chaos that had come before. Systems stabilized, the ship's hum returned to its normal rhythm, and the lights throughout the celestial wave dimmed back to their standard, steady glow. One by one, the crew gathered in the main deck, their exhaustion evident, but their relief palpable. Vrelka stood at the head of the group, her imposing Tharkian frame still and thoughtful. She surveyed her crew, tired, bruised, but alive. Her gaze lingered on Alex, the human whose quick thinking had pulled them out of the anomaly's deadly grasp. Jara spoke first, her soft voice breaking the silence. Your mind was like a beacon during all of that, she said, looking at Alex with genuine admiration. Amid the chaos, your focus never wavered. It kept the rest of us steady, too. Zithra, still clutching a diagnostic tablet, nodded reluctantly. I'll admit, human, your methods were unconventional. I don't understand half of what you did, and I'm certain none of it was by the manual. But, she added with a wry smile, it worked. Against all odds, it worked. Lorne crossed his arms, his expression as guarded as ever. I've never trusted humans to rely on anything but luck. But what you showed today wasn't luck. It was something else, something we don't have. Alex looked around the group, their words sinking in. She hadn't acted out of a desire for recognition. She had acted because she couldn't stand by while the ship and its crew were in danger. Still, hearing their acknowledgement stirred something deep inside her. Vrelka stepped forward, her piercing eyes fixed on Alex. Humans have a reputation in this galaxy, she began, her tone measured. Stories of ingenuity, resilience, and a stubborn refusal to accept defeat. I thought those stories were exaggerated. Today, I see they weren't. She paused, her voice softening slightly. You didn't just save this ship, Carter. You showed us something invaluable. How to adapt, how to think beyond what we know, and how to trust in the unexpected. Alex rubbed the back of her neck, feeling both humbled and a little overwhelmed. I just did what needed to be done, she said simply. Every one of you played a part. I just connected the dots. That's precisely the point, Jara said. You see connections where others don't. That's what makes your species remarkable. Vrelka straightened, addressing the crew as a whole now. Let this serve as a lesson to us all. We've learned today why humans are sought after by so many. They may lack the strength of the Draken AR or the precision of the Krill, but what they bring is something far rarer. Creativity, adaptability, the ability to unify a team in the face of chaos. There was a murmur of agreement among the crew. Even Lorne gave a curt nod, his earlier skepticism replaced with a grudging respect. As the group began to disperse, Jara lingered near Alex. You may think what you did was ordinary, but it wasn't. It's a gift, one your people seem to carry naturally. I hope you realize that. Alex smiled faintly. Maybe it's just part of being human. Later, in her private log, Vrelka recorded the day's events. She ended with a single line that encapsulated her newfound understanding. Every species wants a human in their crew because, in the face of the unknown, they make the impossible possible.